Hey everyone, Matt Thomas here. Thanks for watching. So this is a quick summary video on the longer why writing can be so difficult for our students video. As with any of the summary videos I do, this video will not tell the entire story. If you want to see the studies that this is based on, if you want to see the research this is based on, if you want the in-depth analysis, commentary, and see how you can apply this in your classroom, please watch the 20-minute version of why writing can be so difficult for our students. I'm always hesitant to do these summary videos because it does not tell the entire story. I do have to leave a lot of stuff out, and some of the things will be it will seem incomplete, right, when I say them. But I know that we all don't have 20 minutes to listen to a video. So if you want the answers, let's get right into it. The reason it's important for teachers to understand why students have difficulty writing, some students have difficulty writing, is so that teachers can focus their instruction on what will maximize student growth, thus teaching more efficiently, cutting back on teacher frustration, cutting back on student frustration. So the reason writing can be so difficult is because the brain likes patterns. It likes to learn in patterns. It likes to retain information based on patterns. It decides if it wants to remember new information based on whether or not it already has an established pattern, prior knowledge. The brain likes to be very efficient, which is why it can be difficult to break a pattern once it's established. It also likes to make meaning in what it's learning and find value in what it's learning. And if the brain cannot make meaning or find value in what it's learning, it's more prone to synaptic pruning, which is essentially deleting information within 24 hours. The pattern, one pattern that the brain is very comfortable with, unless there's developmental issues, is speaking. We speak all the time, we have conversations all the time, the brain's very comfortable with that. When we ask our students to write, it's changing a pattern that's already well established. So oftentimes our students will say, oh, I know what I want to say, but I'm having trouble writing it down. I'm having trouble getting started. It's because there's the disconnect there. We're asking the students to do something that they're very comfortable with, speaking. Then we're asking them to change their structure, change their pattern, change their word choice to reflect more academic language, extend the argument or shorten the argument for brevity, add two things that are very foreign to the brain, an intro and a conclusion paragraph, because we don't speak an intro or conclusion paragraph. So the brain hasn't established that as a strong pattern. Of course, then include the frontal lobe, which is only 80% mature at the time, which focuses on analysis, and the amygdala, which is fully mature in the teenage years, which focuses on regulating emotion and decoding memory, which is why analysis, oftentimes in essays, are emotionally driven with our teenagers. So how, as teachers, how can we support better writing? Well, we need to establish and create a new pattern. So the brain feels comfortable with conversational pattern, but when it starts to write, it doesn't have a strong pattern that's consistent. Now, every English teacher has talked about a pattern in writing, but to put emphasis on that pattern. So whether you're teaching axes paragraph writing, ACEs, step up to writing, however you as a teacher want to support better writing, be consistent with that pattern and tell them that their grade is going to be, there's going to be more grading emphasis on that pattern. So if I'm a 9th grade teacher, I will tell my students, especially for the first few essays, hey guys, I'm going to basically grade your essays based on pattern, right? I'm going to look, did your argument come first? Do you have an example? Are you explaining how that example reflects your argument or pertains to your argument? Do you have the long-term analysis, significance, long-term impact, etc.? And if their paragraphs are structured that way, just like putting a puzzle together, and the attempt at analysis is there, the effort is there, and as teachers, we know if effort's there or not, then the students can get an A. And consistently do that for the first few essays so their brain can see as soon as we write, there's a pattern that they need to follow. Then as the students get older, their frontal lobe will more mature, analysis will be much easier with that. If you're still struggling with your students to put out quality writing, then look at the interest level that the students have in the essays or the writings. Is the interest there? Is the value there? I'm a big believer in curiosity and interest having to be established at the beginning of a lesson. It is the first and most important step to learning. We're hardwired to love learning and be curious about that. If you want to see how you can apply that in your classroom, please watch the longer 20-minute version. In every lesson I did, I always had the component of creating curiosity because we know it's the most important first step of learning. Please watch the entire video for complete additional information with this and how you can apply it in your classroom. Thank you.